In today's video, we're going to be diving back into a little bit more Arc Raiders, and for this one, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know, some really great beginner tips in order to get up to speed fast and get a whole bunch out of the game nice and easy. If you're trying to make sure that you know exactly what's going on in Arc Raiders and want to make sure you get up to speed fast, then this video is going to be perfect for you. So first off, your main hub area, basically the place where you'll be spending a whole bunch of time checking through your resources, doing your upgrade and going over to your shops and things such as that, is going to be known as Speranza. In this area you're going to have a whole host of things you can do. One of the main things you should be looking at every single time you can, so after a couple of missions you want to head over to your workshop and make sure you check over at Scrappy. Great thing about this little buddy is that it's going to collect resources, so you're just going to have to click on him, grab yourself a whole host of resources that can be used to make various things you're going to need to get hold of, and of course you can also upgrade him whenever you're finding certain items. As well as that though, within this area there's going to be a few other things you want to know about, such as picking up quests from Shani over at your security place, which can help you to get some great items, as well as I believe a little bit later on some XP for your character. As well as this though, you'll also be able to visit some stores if you do need some purchasable items, but heading back to our workshop, one of the main things I'd highly recommend doing as soon as you can is to make sure you purchase and upgrade your benches here. These are going to help you out massively throughout pretty much all stages of the game, as you'll be able to create a whole host of items and just make your life much easier in the process. I'd highly recommend trying to upgrade your gunsmith and medic station as soon as possible, as this is going to really help you out to get some really nice weapons whenever you find those blueprints, and as well as that, grab yourself some bandages and shields whenever you need them. As well as this though, with your benches, if you are trying to upgrade them, don't forget you can always track the resources, and then whenever you're out on the hunt for them, just make sure you pick up anything that's got this icon right here. That's going to be the one, looks like a kind of eye symbol, and it means it's going to be items that you're after. This is going to help you to complete quests and get a whole bunch of items that you're not going to dismantle or sell off, because otherwise it can be quite tricky because of how many different resources there are within this game. Another nice thing is with your gunsmith bench, when you can, upgrade this one as soon as possible, as I believe after its first upgrade you then be able to actually enhance your weapons a little bit and make them overall a bit more powerful when you're going into your maps and such. So whenever you need to do this, and whenever you're looking at your weapons, you'll be able to click on them, scroll all the way down, and you'll be able to upgrade them as long as you've got the resources. Each weapon will have slightly different upgrades, but they're all well worth going in with and can really help you to have the upper hand against enemies you're facing, especially if it's going to be against PvP players. Speaking of how much there is within this game, another thing you're going to want to do whenever you can is to make sure you upgrade your stash. Honestly, you can get overwhelmed with just how much you have loot wise coming in sometimes, so making sure you've got the biggest possible expansion for your stash can really help out to hold on to a lot of items, especially later on in the game when you get some really good loadouts and such. Remember, you can sell off a lot of your items or dismantle them if you wanted certain resources, but every time you're upgrading your stash it does cost extra, going up into the hundreds of thousands later on in the game. Again, another thing you're not going to want to make the mistake of is ever selling off any of your blueprints. These things can be really sought after, so if you do ever manage to find yourself a blueprint that you haven't got, make sure you definitely don't sell it off. Instead of that, what you want to do is click on it and make sure that you learn it. Now, whenever you're going over to the appropriate bench in your workshop, you'll be able to see that they're there, and even if you've not leveled them up enough, it's still going to have been learnt so that you can use it whenever you've upgraded them enough. One thing I found is if you want to get yourself a whole bunch of money really fast in order to expand your inventory and just make things a little bit easier for yourself, one great way, go straight into any one of your maps that you've unlocked and then pick an actual area that's going to be close to an extraction point. You're going to want to make sure it's as close to you as possible, go over to your loadout, make sure it's a free loadout because you don't want any expenses, and then head off into the map. If however you're thinking what is the point of free loadouts and what's the difference between those and custom loadouts, then the main thing that you're going to get from custom loadouts is going to be, once you've started to get a bit more powerful, you're going to upgrade your gear, give yourself a really powerful loadout, and bring with you some really tasty equipment. Also, you're going to have more slots, so you'll be able to extract more loot and such, as well as be able to have yourself at least one safe pocket. This can help you if you're finding really nice items, just in case you do get jumped and don't manage to extract. But the deficit to this is if you bring in a really powerful loadout, it's costing you a whole bunch of money, and then you go into the map but proceed to get taken down, then you do lose pretty much all of it, except for what's in your safe spot. So a lot of times what you'll be doing very early on in the game is go in with a free loadout just to make sure you're not really losing out on anything. Then you're going to spawn into a map. Wherever you spawn in, you're going to want to make sure you head to an area that's got some nice loot to it, but is also very close to an extraction point. Then make your way to there, grab everything you can, hopefully get yourself some nice valuables in the process, and most times you're going to find, even as solo players, because of how early on you're doing this and because you're going to be extracting straight away, you should be able to fill up your loot, get yourself at least around about 15,000 in currency or a little bit more, depending on your luck, and then you're just going to extract, head out and sell off everything you need to in order to use the money to expand your stash or do whatever you want to with it. While you're here as well, another nice thing you can do rather than selling off or breaking down your resources is to take off your free loadout augments. Then you're going to head over to your trades place and you'll actually be able to change these over to a Combat Mark 1 augment. You can get a whole bunch of these built up really fast this way, allowing you to get some safety slots really nice and easy and go in slightly better geared than you would have been for when you want to do your custom loadouts. Now, another absolutely huge thing in this game is going to be noise. You have to be completely aware of this at all times, and because there's no real way to actually see players on the map and such, noise is going to be one of the biggest factors in the game. Everything you do pretty much makes noise in this, whether you're running, shooting, looting, everything's going to make noise. So if you can, be careful of any time you're hearing certain noises such as arc drones going over your head, or of course be on the lookout for other players this way. Same applies to yourself. If you want to crouch and move a little bit more silent at certain times, you definitely should do, but in general noise is going to be one of the biggest factors against a whole bunch of enemies. Going over to your skill tree, and the skills are going to be essential for having a good time in Arc Raiders, as there's a lot of ones to give you quality of life. But I would say personally, if you can, try and focus a little bit on your red tree at the start. This is going to give you some really nice nodes, such as ones that help your stamina whenever you're kind of crouching along and moving in that more silent state. Also, being able to craft certain items whilst you're out in the field is absolutely essential, so in-round crafting as well as some of the other later nodes that you can pick up in a skill tree work out absolutely perfect. Good as new, it's also a great one you'll probably want to invest in, as now whenever you're under a healing effect you're also going to get a whole bunch of extra stamina. This can be great if you need to make a quick escape or just want to make a bit of distance between you and an enemy, and as well as that, there's quite a few nodes within this skill tree that can really help you out later on in the game. If however you're after just stamina in general, then head over to the yellow branch, head up on the left hand side, and you'll be able to get a lot of stamina nodes. That means it'll be depleted a little bit slower, as well as giving you a bit more stamina overall. Lastly, again, just for a bit more quality of life, something that I found really helps you out, heading over to your settings, you're going to go over to your graphics, and here you can change your field of view for exactly which one you feel suits you best, and as well as that, turn off motion blur if you're like me and you really don't like it in your games. As well as this, another great thing you can do to enhance your gameplay a little bit more, like we were saying with that sand, is to go over to your audio and to switch it over to night mode. This makes things a little bit crisper and a little bit louder and can really help out with things like footsteps that we were talking about earlier. Finally, for a bit of personalisation, why not head over to accessibility, and in here you'll be able to change your actual crosshairs for your weapon and put it to anything you really enjoy playing with. First one you get as a basic isn't the best overall, and I found changing it over to one of the circular ones tend to work out best, but again it's going to be down to your own preference, but it does make things feel a little bit more personalised and better overall. As well as that, you can change it to different colours if you wanted to, and just give your character a little bit more personalisation and hopefully make your gunfights a little bit cleaner and smoother because of it. But yeah, overall these tips are ones I wish I knew straight away whenever I was coming into the game, and now they're pretty much the basics that you're going to want to know about that can really help you out all the way throughout the game. As always, there's going to be a whole bunch more content away from me, hints, tips, guides and some of the best things you should be looking out for, but for now hopefully that's helped a few of you guys and girls out. Take care, I'll see you on the next day.